Hi, Taffy here. Today I'm going to be talking about beginning as a writer. Now, I sent out an invitation to ask questions on Twitter and Facebook, and I got a lot of results, but I handpicked these 3 questions because they're basically all about getting started. They're from, Melanie, Bryan, and Laura. Now, first of all, Melanie asks, what kind of things do I need to get started? Not that much, actually. One of the great things about writing is you don't require a bunch of crazy technology. Like in photography, you need a good camera. Ooh, look, memory full. And you have to, work out all that SD card stuff. In writing, unlimited memory. Let's just leave it at that. But you are going to want a dictionary, a thesaurus, a rhyming dictionary if you write poetry, a notebook, a pen or pencil, and a computer, which really isn't a lot. Most people have those things already. And if you don't, they're usually pretty cheap, except for the computer. But most people already have a computer, so that problem should be solved for you. And if you don't, it isn't absolutely necessary. Or if your library has one of those things where if you have a library card, you have access to a user thing on your library computer at your library. Some libraries don't have that, some of them do, but that can come in handy if your library does have that. Listen to me, has that. If you're talking about writing, I have terrible grammar. Have that. But if it doesn't, it isn't the end of the world. Trust me. So that's basically all you need to get started. And how to use them, that isn't very hard either. Thesauruses are thesauri? I don't know. A thesaurus is used to find synonyms for, if you find yourself saying crazy too often, you can look it up in a thesaurus and find that moonstruck and brain sick also mean crazy and a bunch of other things. So a thesaurus can really help with that. A dictionary, it's obvious what that is. It defines words. A rhyming dictionary, you can look up a word and find a bunch of words that rhyme with it. It really helps with rhyming poetry. It's obvious what notebooks and pens and pencils are used for. Computers, you can have internet access, so if you don't know a lot about something, you can research it on Google. You can use Google Docs, a word processing program, a whole bunch of stuff. And our next question comes from Bryan. When and where should I write every day? It's really a matter of personal choice. Some people don't have a lot of time in a day, but if you can just spare even 15 minutes per day, that's really good. Just make sure that you are writing every day, even if it's 5 minutes right before you go to bed or early in the morning. Just make sure you're writing every day. It's super important. As for where you should write, some people can write amidst chaos. They just get used to it after a while and they can end up just shutting it out. That's me because I grew up with 2 brothers. But some people really need peace and quiet. So if you don't share your bedroom with a sibling, you can try that. If it's summer or another warm season, you can go outside somewhere. There's usually quiet outside unless you live in the city. In that case, it might be hard. But there is bound to be someplace, anywhere, even in an elevator, where you can have peace and quiet. Although, elevator music, I don't know. Lastly, Laura asks, what should I start out with? It's a matter of passion. Generally, people like to start out with something small, or should start out with something small. Some people start out with something big, even though they should start out with something small, and they just end up giving up and never finishing and never becoming the great writers they were destined to be, and it's just really sad. So start out with something small. If you write poetry, write a little free verse poem to start with, then maybe a free verse poem with a structure, such as the Japanese haiku. And then if you do plan on doing rhyming someday, which some people don't even, it's not entirely necessary to make your poems rhyme. You can just stick with free verse and a structure, or even just free verse, but you can work your way up to rhyming. And there are plenty of other ways to do things like limericks and quains, sonnets, but you know, all that stuff. And if you're writing fiction, I would start out with a short story, then a novella, which is a shorter novel, and then a novel. Don't just dive straight into the novel, because novels are hard. If I started out with a novel and I never finished it, but then I went on to a short story, then a novella, then a novel, and that time I did finish the novel. So it really does help to start out small. Please comment with your questions. There will be a short story prompt and a poetry prompt in the description. Please comment if you like that prompt, or tell me if you got a great idea for it and stuff, because that really encourages me. Please leave questions in the comments, because that will give me material for my next video, which should be coming soon, since I'm on spring break and I have a lot of free time. Thank you for watching.